Management with Entrepreneurship, Mike McNally. That concludes the awards for the former students from the Department of Management. Those students who have not been able to collect their awards today are listed in the graduation book. Thank you.
I now ask Jonathan Stephen, President of the Students' Union, to respond on behalf of all the former students who have received awards at this ceremony.
Excuse me.
Deputy Vice-Chancellor, distinguished guests, staff who have supported your academic journey, family and friends who have shared this chapter of your story, and most importantly, graduates. As President of Huddersfield Students' Union, I warmly welcome all of you to this special graduation ceremony. As a former undergraduate student and a current PhD student here at Huddersfield, I think you can grasp my love for this university, which I regard as my home from home. I'm sure many of you would agree with me. The university's efforts in teaching excellence are reflected through the Teaching Excellence Framework Gold status, as well as the widening participation drive mirrored by the diversity in this room to accommodate all of us in equitable degrees. As we sit rightly proud of one another and our own accomplishments, today is a day to reflect and acknowledge the privilege we all share as graduates. Looking back at my educational journey, I recognise that it was not typical. During my primary school years, I moved from school to school, and at 15 years of age, I left school with no qualifications. To many professionals within education, I may have been considered a write-off. I did not feel like I was welcomed in education at that time of my life. Instead, I decided I would start a business and be self-employed. My family, albeit extremely apprehensive, and to be honest, rightly so, were extremely supportive and began to scaffold my learning in a non-typical sense. I returned to education at 19, where I was full of fear around my belonging within education. I then completed an access course to gain the relevant qualifications to enter university. What stands out for me when I look back is though I may have left education early, those life skills and experiences that shaped my route into education may have been non-typical, but it has afforded me with the opportunities that led me to where I am today. And I'm sure that many of you sat here have shared similar experiences. And what is important to remind ourselves is that each of our routes are as valuable. Our unique experiences, learning, adversity, family commitments and responsibilities are our strength. So don't waste time following in the footsteps of someone else's life. Stay motivated in making your own story. We offer a wealth of potential to your chosen field and to importantly educate others. Just take a second to look at your fellow peers and graduates, your family members and guardians, all those who have contributed to who you are. You may have shared the last 3 or 4 years with one another in countless lectures, last-minute library sessions, coffee breaks and other activities. I know that today may feel like we are saying goodbye to each other, but you will each carry a piece of one another as you take your next steps. This will remind you of who you are and who you are going to be. I may not know all of you in this room today, but what I do know is that you will continue to be hope for one another, your family and future generations. I was looking for a quote that echoed some of what I've been talking about. I thought of a few particularly inspiring individuals that are or have crafted incredible stories. But for me, this felt detached and not buried in your time here at Huddersfield. So it's with that in mind that I would like to quote the Student Charter, created by students in partnership with academics for students. Together at Huddersfield, we will share excellent opportunities for learning so that the challenge of higher education is embraced. We all aspire to realise our full potential and excel at what we do. And it is as simple as education has the power to transform lives. Thank you and congratulations, class of 2018.
So 5 minutes gone.
I call upon the Chair to make the closing address.
Distinguished guests, graduates, staff, parents, family and friends. My first duty is to ask all of our graduates to stand, please. By virtue of the authority vested in me, I confer upon you graduate status of the University of Huddersfield. Many congratulations. Well done, you can sit down then. No more audience participation. We're all here today to celebrate the achievements of our graduates from Huddersfield Business School. Every one of you has worked hard. There'll almost certainly have been ups and downs along the way, but now, surely, you're at the end of your journey. Or are you? Because really, this is the start of your journey. Your years at the University of Huddersfield will, I'm sure, have been an invaluable and memorable experience in their own right. But they're also the prelude to your career, or maybe a new direction in life, if you came here to add to your qualifications, or you chose degree study as catalyst for change or for fresh fulfilment. Fortunately, it's part of our remit to equip students for the world of work, whatever their chosen path. This has been the case since 1841, which saw the foundation of the institution from which we are directly descended. Then as now, there was a powerful emphasis on the importance of education, not only to individual growth and fulfilment, but also to the wider economy. And the employability of our graduates has always been a priority. A defining feature of the University of Huddersfield, as you can attest, is the fact that all of our courses, from the sciences across to the humanities, place great emphasis on work experience. This is a part of a long Huddersfield tradition of higher education with a practical slant, and it produces real results. We are continually one of the UK's leading universities for graduate employment. Graduation ceremonies are as much about the future, your future, as they are about the past few years of study. But they are also an opportunity to pause and give thanks, not only to the university staff who guided and supported your education experience, but to all the others who've helped you along the way, from parents and partners to grandparents and siblings. Graduation day genuinely does belong to them. Just
Focus, will you?
To you.
What's going on? Why are you
As a
focusing?
university too, we take immense pride in every single graduate who passes through these ceremonies. We're also proud of the support, the guidance, the expertise and the facilities that we offer. Our guiding philosophy has always been that higher education should be available and accessible to as many people as possible, irrespective of background and family circumstances, and that continues to this day. Each one of you is now part of the Huddersfield family, and everyone here, staff, fellow students, your families and friends, know that you've achieved your qualifications through hard work and determination, and hopefully had some very good times along the way. I'd like to say thank you and congratulations to each one of you. As we celebrate this morning, it's also worth reflecting briefly on this magnificent St Paul's Hall, the setting for our ceremony today. Built in 1829, it reflects the same confidence in the future, the same belief in the power of collective effort towards improvement that was evident in the work of those of our predecessors
who a few years before began the work which in 1841 helped produce the Young Men's Mental Improvement Society, the direct precursor of the great university we know today. Students like you have been graduating with degrees here in Huddersfield now for well over a century. It's a reminder that as well as celebrating the individual and individuality, we can take pride in the effort of a community of students and graduates, of past and present colleagues, now many, many thousands strong, and in their contributions to economies and communities here in Huddersfield, across Yorkshire, and literally around the globe. Before I close, I'd like to talk a little about the law of graduation ceremonies. One of the favourite pearls of wisdom, which one finds repeated at ceremonies like this by less original student union presidents than ours, or by people like me, comes from Mark Twain. Twain's an author whose words are apposite for many different award ceremonies, if not always encouraging. I know that we have some finance students here, so I venture with a little trepidation on his well-known definition that a banker is a fellow who lends you his umbrella when the sun is shining, but wants it back the minute it begins to rain. Slightly more seriously, we do have those words to which I've just referred, and they're Mark Twain's reaction directly to celebrating an award at a graduation ceremony 120 years ago, reflecting on his own studies. This is what he said: "I'm glad I did it, partly because it was worth it, and partly because I'll never have to do it again." And I think quite nicely sums up the mix of emotions that you may be feeling now. Elation at your achievement, satisfaction that what you've achieved really means something, but also simple relief that it's all over. But I know that there are almost certainly other emotions present. Celebrations like this are great, not just for looking back, taking pride in our achievements, thanking those who supported us in working for them, but in bringing us face to face with our futures, perhaps especially if we've done exceptionally well, as I know is the case with so many of you. And that can be unsettling. It can be challenging. In an oft misquoted story, it's said that Alexander the Great, at the age of just 33, stood on the bounds of his empire, surveyed his achievements, and wept salt tears, for there were no more worlds to conquer. In fact, Alexander's reaction in Plutarch's story stemmed from his understanding that, in spite of everything he'd so far achieved, of all the worlds he had not yet conquered one. However well you've done now, I hope it will have only whetted your appetite and prepared you well for further achievement in the future. Mark Twain said he was glad he'd graduated from his degree because he'd never have to do it again. Mark Twain was wrong. The truth is that a huge proportion of our graduates know that this is just one step on their path of development and education, and that of those around them.
The power of Britain.
Like
now
yours,
let's go watch Bing Crosby.
The conviction is reinforced in me. The conviction that there's no obstacle we cannot overcome, no personal challenge that cannot be faced down, no collective crisis that cannot be defeated if we retain our faith in education. We hear the voices even now who say university is not for most of these people. Too many graduates, wrong sort of skills. We read the papers who say it's time to roll back the advances that have been made over the years by places such as this university. We meet the skeptics and the cautious and the doubters. And when we do, I remind myself this university began with just 9 working men in the Huddersfield Temperance Hotel, in a world where few, if any, young men and no young women had access to higher education. with 9 people who knew that in education lies power and freedom and our realisation as individuals and communities, and who would not be deflected, whatever the circumstances.
Come on, focus.
There is therefore a responsibility on all of us, in whatever the circumstances, to go out and make the case for education, for ourselves and for those who come after. Finally,
Don't ring me
I
now.
want to finish by once more offering you my personal congratulations. Enjoy the day with your family and your friends, and good luck to each and every one of you. Well done.
I now declare the proceedings closed.
It's not
Will the
over till it's
congregation
over.
please stand and remain standing until all graduates and the academic procession have exited the hall.
Condor man.